Nothing matters. But you know what does matter? Time. As we get older, time seems to speed up, and as we all know, time flies when you're having fun. But it's possible for us to freeze time. Keep watching. Time flies when you're having fun. Time clearly cannot fly. However, when you get older, time seems to speed up. Psychologist William James wrote that as we age, we are accompanied by fewer and fewer memorable moments, and this is the driving force for time seeming to speed up as we get older. We're accompanied by less firsts, he calls them, like our first day at school or our first time abroad. Our systematic lifestyles as adults stop these first experiences coming into play, and our brain sort of overclocks in a sense and gets used to the common system that we have made for ourselves. Is this an atypical trait? Of course not. Every single human comes at this point in their life where they have to repeat something for a mass amount of time, like school or work. But it's a shame that we can't repeat fun things like going to the zoo, because damn, I love those zebras. In the early 1960s, a couple of guys called Wallach and Green proposed a study to test this theory on how age affects the way we perceive time speeding up. They got two groups, a group with an age range of 18 to 20 and another group with an age range of 69 to 72. They asked these groups to give a metaphor for time. The younger group gave metaphors such as time is a waveless ocean, or very slow-based metaphors. However, an example of the older group's metaphors were time is a speeding train, which is a bit suspicious considering what we've just talked about earlier. We have no choice on how to perceive the speed at which time passes unless we control our firsts in the future events of our life. However, watch this. I'm going to stop talking for 15 seconds and I want you to sit through it without skipping the entire 15 seconds. Now, I'm sure that felt like a very tedious 15 seconds, but by the time that I finish this sentence, those 15 seconds have passed completely. It's shocking how that when I'm talking and you're concentrating, those 15 seconds seem to be so much shorter than they did when you were waiting for nothing to happen. I'm always waiting for something to happen. There is one thing called chronostasis. From the Greek words chrono, which means time, and stasis, which means stationary. This means time stationary, or that time is still. Chronostasis is a way for your mind to freeze time to let you visualize something properly. After a saccade, which is a quick movement of the eyes, you see something in chronostasis for a short period of time. Effectively, when you look at something after a quick movement of your eyes, your brain has stopped time. To put this into perspective, imagine there's a student sat at his desk doing some work, and he takes a look at the clock, and the clock says 12 o'clock, 1200. He looks down at his paper, then carries on writing, and then he looks up again, and the clock says 1201. But this time he stares at the clock for a bit longer, just to make sure he knows what the clock is saying. And that 01 seems to stick there for longer than a minute should. I bet this has happened to you at school, or in the workplace, or whenever you've looked at a clock before. You can look at a clock and it looks stationary. The second hand looks stationary. That is because you are going through chronostasis. Your brain is telling you that that clock needs to be frozen in time so you can read it properly, and then it will begin to move. Now, 500 milliseconds every time you look somewhere is a very short amount of time. In fact, it's nowhere near the shortest amount of time, which is the Planck time. The Planck time is the time taken for light to travel over one Planck length, which is the shortest measurable distance. This time is 5.5 times 10 to the minus 44 seconds. Now, if that's the shortest possible time, what about the longest possible time? That would be infinity, right? Maybe not. After a googol years, the universe will run out of energy for it to do anything. So, thinking about time, would time stop there? There'd be no energy to do anything, so technically the universe would be in a state of frozen. In the whole scale of time, it's probably best that we leave the question of when time will end to the people who will be there to watch it end. Everyone who's watching this video is not going to be around for the next googol years, so let's probably focus on our firsts and definitely not our lasts. And if there's one thing that does matter, it's you.